Was that a little God bumpy for anyone else but me? To remember why we're here? To remember that that one power belongs to all of us and it doesn't matter what we call it? You know, in order to think that way and know that way and be open to all these different ideas, there's a little quote that our mind is like a parachute. It works better when it's open. So we can tell, you know, when we hear those little buzzwords, how we feel. Am I open to all the understanding that there's all these different expressions of this one power going on? And if we are really in this upward spiral of life, which we're meant to be, we'll feel those times when there's big shifts, not only in our behavior, but in the way we do things. And now some of those shifts, sometimes called paradigm shifts, when we have a change of thinking or behavior, so we move to a new way of thinking or acting or believing or whatever, those shifts in us that happen. Sometimes they're externally, like they happen generationally, sometimes 1918, the 1918 pandemic, which half the people died. Very powerful throughout the world internationally. Or there was the Great Depression, which changed lives forever. Or World War II, or 9/11, which really changes the way we think and believe. Now, if we take 9/11 and look what happened, and watching the pictures and remembrances, I'm sure there's no one here that doesn't remember where you were on that day. It really changes the way we looked at the world, but how we reacted really brought an awakening in me that we came together. It didn't matter what the color of your skin, your political views, your religion, where you lived. It didn't matter. People came together to help one another, came together for good, for love, because that's the ultimate name of the one Spirit, is love. But look what's happened today. We've got a lot of work to do, and that's why we're here. Because we have work to do. Our paradigm shift is not something out there, outward behavior, but it's an internal change of consciousness. And we're here because that gradual unveiling, expanding of our power, we need to move in these steps to open ourselves up to something new, something greater. I want you to think, I loved all the, gosh, I had to follow Carmack today. And the Bible and all the parables and the beautiful music, but all of that was lifting us up through humor, through joy, through wisdom, through music, to really be open to something new. So I really want you to think in your level of empowerment. That means powered by Spirit, internally powered by Spirit. Now, let me tell you, Spirit, how do we know if it's Spirit or our ego? Spirit, God, only speaks in the affirmative. You get it? Only in the affirmative. So the feelings we feel doesn't mean sometimes we don't feel bad or we get hurt. That is part of our growth and evolution. But if we're listening for that internal message of just, as Mary was reading to us so beautifully this morning from Ernest Holmes, just guiding us, that message there, the power of Spirit is in us now and always. It's the power that's there. So I want to tell you that what if you knew that power, which we can call creative energy, potentiality, you know, the profound thinkers and beings, the leaders and beings, just wherever they were in whatever phase of tradition or religion, they could all feel and sense the power and the potentiality and the possibilities that are inherent in this world that's beyond our human intellect. It takes another level of consciousness. And so that's what we're working on, another level of consciousness. Tell me, if you realize that the creative energy of the universe, the same energy that made everything, that made the planets and everything on it, everything and everything and everything, that same creative intelligence and energy was available to you right now, would you feel like you won the lottery? Wouldn't that be cool if you just thought about that for a minute? That power is ours, but it takes a developmental, opening to claim it. Ernest Holmes said, actually that power is within us and around us, but the power within us is like a sleeping giant waiting to be awakened. And if we say, oh, there's something in me right now. Just say this to yourself. There's something in me right now greater than I appear to be. Greater than I appear to be. And it wants me to recognize it and know it and awaken to it. It wants that. It's kind of knocking and, trying to get out of the shell. So you can say, maybe I've been asleep for a while. And maybe it's time to what? To what? Yes, it's time for us to wake up and get back to that feeling of being together and helping one another and ourselves. Of course, we have to awaken and own this power, but to be there together. Now, let me tell you the first way. I was really thinking, gosh, I was watching a few of the shows on the children of 9/11 and some of the different things that was touching my heart. And what so many people were saying is, what's happened to us? What has happened to us? And I thought, what's the solution? Because I am a solution-oriented girl. What can we do to really start moving back in that direction? Because we're in a little bit of a downward spiral. And some of us are taking some progressive steps upward. But what can we do to make things better? Because I believe that you and I exist on this planet as human beings right here in our present incarnations because we are a unique expression of spirit, and we have to wake up to that and own it. So what we know is that our word has power. Our word itself, though, is a container for something. Words themselves are not creative. They're little containers for our feelings and our thoughts. So if you did a little graph right now, just of 0 to 10, of how powerful your words have been to yourself this morning, because it always starts with ourself. How powerful. Did you wake up this morning and just say, oh, I'm so amazing. I love myself. How many of you did that? I thought so. Okay, good. Dawn did it. Yay. Okay, one out of how many did it? So just right now say, I love myself. I am a child of God. I'm created of goodness. And I'm on purpose now. You got a little quieter on that last one, but that's okay. We're just evolving and growing. We're here because we have to recognize this power of our word is so important. And some words have greater power than others because of our conviction behind them. The feeling, our beliefs create our feelings, and our feelings create our thoughts, and our thoughts create our words. But we are here because, this changes me when I think about it. It really changes me. We are the voice of God because God doesn't have a verbal voice. The way God speaks, Spirit speaks, is in the language of feeling in our heart. That's why when Mary was reading about that intuition and guidance we get of what to do and how to do it, that's an internal power that we're awakening. And that's where we get, if our words are plugged into that, whew, if we have to sense it first. We have to have a practice that gets us so we open to that presence that's always there. Our practice can be as simple as saying, let's see, with God all things are possible. And then just be quiet, because true spiritual power resides in silence. That's where we tap into it. Martine's here, and she's one of our, now not newly graduated, but the most recently graduated religious science practitioner. And she went in our class, we're going into this silence, we're talking about the power, we're working on making it a part of our life, and she came up with pause, that's the silence, plug in. Plug into that power. Too many of us have our power cords out here, and we go sporadically around life just going up and down. We've got to plug into that power in here, and then proceed with our day in the outer world and in our life. Can you say that with me? The first one is pause, plug in, proceed. Do you mind if we borrow that, Martine? You gave it to the whole class. It's ours now, and you're the author, so that's so beautiful. But it's a help, just anything that gets us in the practice. And the practice is first, and then expanding our faith in something we cannot see. Everything in this is the invisible manifestation, but something we cannot see. And let me tell you very simply what faith is. Faith is knowing that all is well, no matter what. all is well, no matter what. It takes a big faith to say that, because times in our life you're just shaken to your knees are knocking, you're shaking because you don't know what's going on, and it's an uncertain time, but all is well. Every one of those situations I've talked about, and COVID-19, of course, is the last one we're in. This is our paradigm shift now, but every one of them we've come out stronger. So let's do that here and now. So I'm going to just share a little story with you, just something I want you to take with you, and we'll chat about that. But real spiritual power is, if you think about it, it really boils down to love. To love. Aesop was a Greek storyteller, and he wrote fables that would teach children moral lessons throughout time. And of course, so many of us know these moral lessons, and they just are so long. But I'm going to share one of them that might not be as well known, but we've all heard. And it's called the bundle of sticks. And this is what we need to do, because when I was thinking of this solution for us right now, it's to have this united spiritual consciousness. And this means no matter what's going on in our personal preferences, ideas, opinions, wants, and needs, that we have this united spiritual consciousness that can lift us forward and pull us to something greater. So here's a story of a young father, and he had a family of sons. From teaching kindergarten, I know how nice and wild and rambunctious little boys can be. I have little girls at home, they could be rambunctious too. And they were always quarreling in between themselves, always fighting and quarreling. And the father just wanted some solution to help them realize this wasn't the way to act in the world. This wasn't going to get them anywhere. But anything he did just didn't work at all. So one day, they were all quarreling, and they were all moping around because they weren't getting their way. Nothing was right, and he had a flash of awareness. And he went and he got a bundle of sticks tied together. And he sat his kids around and he said, listen, I'm going to pass this bundle of sticks around. I want you to each try to break them. So he passed the bundle of sticks around, and the kids would try, but with all their might, they couldn't break that bundle of sticks. And he took the sticks and he untied them, and he gave each one a stick. And he said, okay, I want you to try to break that. Boom, broke instantly and easily. And he said, when you all live with your own ideas and own opinions and don't come together and work for each other, anything out there, any enemy or anything out there can break you easily. But when you come together in a group and stick together and support each other, you have strength beyond your weaknesses. In unity, there is strength. In unity, there is strength. And that's the message for not only our children, but ourselves. When we had our angel store, I had a little plaque on the wall, and it had something that's always in my mind. I carried around a lot. Of course, we talked about angels a lot, and just the beauty of the support and the wonder of angels. But the sign said, we are all angels with just one wing. And the only way we can fly is by embracing each other. And that's what I want to leave with you today. Just one small step for all of us is how can we bring things together? Just one small step at a time. And repeat those steps consistently every day. Report your small wins. If you make somebody smile, if you brighten somebody's day, if you brighten your own day, if you choose a positive thought instead of a negative one, those little wins that can grow into major change. Because together, as we bundle up together, we can truly make that difference of a united spiritual consciousness that uplifts this world, and we can fly. Thank you for being part of this change and the consciousness that's with me and that we're here together. You know how much I love and appreciate each and every one of you for your unique and wonderful expression of God, of goodness, of love, of whatever name you call it, the unique expression you are. God bless you all. Thank you.